For too long, a bureaucratic system which tries to meet the needs of 28 different member states has held farmers back. But now, we have the chance to design a domestic successor to CAP that works for all of you rather than the entire European Union. As we work towards this, it's really important that we've been able to reassure farmers that they will receive the same level of financial support until 2020.
From 2020, Scotland should receive the same amount of money on the same allocation, which is 16.5% plus the convergence uplift, which Defra committed to review actually by the end of last year. So they're overdue on that. The Brexit vote is not an excuse to fail to deliver on a fair allocation there. It's recognised that that was done in an expedient but unfair way in terms of Scotland. And I think that, see, this is the thing I think would provide assurance that they can say we'll come up with a scheme that's fit for purpose, that is more suited to our requirements. But if they won't give a commitment on the level of funding, you know, it can be a fantastic scheme. But if it's 10% of what we get today, what's that going to mean for the rural economy? It would be an utter disaster. So I think they need to talk far more openly about the level of funding. And the reason they don't say it, I think, is what we then need to question. If they won't say that they'll maintain the level of funding, maybe George's assertion that actually they are listened to around the cabinet table isn't quite as sure-footed as he made it out to be, because that is the fear, to use your hope and fear analogy that's there. They are not a strong enough voice. The Treasury decides where the money goes, and it's the Treasury that's a threat to UK farming. And what Andrea Leadsom needs to explain, what the Secretary of State now needs to explain, given that she previously has argued against farm support, is has she changed her mind? Or what does that look like? And does she, now she have responsibility for it, does she get it?
Well, as I made clear, we're not yet in the position of having designed things precisely, but the type of things we're looking at is yes, some sort of scheme where you might reward farmers for ecosystem services, but which would be universal for people to be able to sign up to. But the point I was making is, rather than saying, let's pay farmers a subsidy and then give them a whole list of conditions, let's look at it the other way around. Let's work out what we're trying to reward farmers for doing. And if that means improving the environment, delivering ecosystem services, let's reward them for the work that they're doing in that regard.
Well, absolutely key is producing food for UK consumers. And we do that all day long, but there's a huge opportunity around the world where great British food, with the high standards of animal welfare, food safety, food traceability, it's a real unique selling point around the world, and so demand from across the world is increasing. And of course that's great for UK producers, where they can perhaps get premium pricing, they can provide value-added products and so on. Well, for example, in China, I was there about 6 weeks ago, and it was quite interesting. I had a dinner with a group of big Chinese multinationals who were saying we are desperate to get access to UK food products, and in particular they were very interested in UK dairy, and they're really keen to get skim milk, value-added dairy products and so on out into China. So there's this big demand right around the world, but that's just one recently, and we've got 9 priority markets in our International Export Action Plan, which includes India and the UAE, so there's big opportunities right around the world.